Shouts out Big Steve.
What's up? Welcome to a special edition of the Big Brain recap episode of the whole year 2023. No cards to break down this week. I mean, I usually don't do these. I'm not really a fan of watching other people's. I thought, why not? There's nothing on. There's ACA and A1 Combat, but I think those videos wouldn't really gain any traction. You can pretty much only bet them on Bet Online. And when I do my LFA breakdowns, the views are pretty low. So yeah, if you're a first-time listener, Big Steve, full-time bettor from Australia, been doing this for 6 years now. These last 2 years have been full-time, and yeah, it's going well. Units were 1,000 up until March, then 1,500, and stayed on that for the rest of the year. Yeah. Do a little quick overview of last week. So for those of you that follow, just lost 6,100 in the first week of December, and as of last week, after Cage Warriors, LFA, KSW, and UFC, we're in profit for the month, $1,000. So that's good. I just wanted to make all that money back. Let's see what we have. So yeah, for the UFC, it was a bit of a rough one, bit of a scary one, because I had started the day off with Shamil Gadziev, which was $2.50 underdog, 150 plus 150, and I liked Lucas Almeida, I like Cody Durden, I liked Ariade Lipski, which was my second play, $500 at $2.80. I wish I went more on that. I liked Kelleher, I liked Rosa. I didn't really like Menifield. I liked Emmett. That was one of my big regrets. So yeah, Gadziev won for $1,000. I lost a little bit of money on Almeida, which I played it last week and I couldn't undo it. And yeah, I poked a little bit of Durden for FOMO, $300. Like I said, I wish I went bigger on Lipski. She absolutely dominated. Pardon me. I lost a little bit of money on Brain Kelleher. And yeah, live bet Rosa after round 1. After round 2, when she was $3.50 and it was 1-1 going into the third. She usually has a good round 3. Really regret passing on Emmett. That one bothers me. And yeah, passed on these others and hit some Pantoja takedown props, which were easy money. So yeah, only ended up with 1,000 profit after hitting Lipski and Gadziev, because my little pokes on Almeida and Durden and Kelleher no scorecards and live bet Rosa. So yeah, I'll take the profit, and I'll take being in profit for the year, for the month after losing 6,100. And I mean, I also profited 700 on KSW. I hit Ahmed Villa, $3.30 underdog. One of my favorite bets, big underdog. I hit Jason Blair in Cage Warriors, the under 2.5 rounds at $2.40. Thought about rebetting it at $2.30 after tipping it to the Discord. So yeah, that hit in round 1. That was one of my favorite bets of the week, and lost $300 in Cage Warriors. So yeah, good weekend. That leaves us for the year. It leaves me on 54,234, which is 39.5 units for me. So the year's not over. The year's not over. Obviously, I'll try bet this week and next week. There's Octagon, one of my favorite promotions, next week, and Ryzen. That still falls on 31st of December, so it's going to count for 2023. But yeah, a little bit of regression. Last year I had 47 units, and the year before that 45. So 39.5, pretty much there. But yeah, I lost a lot of money in probably 3 spots this year, and there was a bit of tilt. There was a bit of tilt, which is why next year I'm gonna just focus on something specific. There's nothing really I'm not happy with. Right, I've been doing this for 6 years now. I feel like my style is perfect. Live betting, I'm happy with live betting. I'm happy with my reads. I'm happy with my experience in the game. I'm passing, taking shots, my gut instinct. I'm happy with everything really. The only thing that needs work is staking. I didn't really have many 2-unit shots after March. There's a lot of confident plays, and 2 units for me is $3,000, and no matter how you put it, $3,000 is a lot of money. So I kind of have to get into that mindset mind space to just bet it as a unit and not as a big lump of money, which hopefully I'll be more brave next year. You know, Pana race in Octagon at Pick'em. That should have been a 2-unit play against Bucky, even butching our title fight. Renat at -200 over washed Kevin Lee. I mean, I was telling everyone that's a great play. That should have been two units for sure. But yeah, staking always needs work and discipline always needs work. But everything else I'm generally happy with. And that's why I'm not going to bang on too much about anything because, you know, I did my 6-month overview and I just said don't tilt. And we'll go over those tilting periods and I'll run through what mistakes I made. But yeah, if anyone's in here, you know, you want to ask some questions, now's the time. It's not going to be a long one. I'm just kind of winging it. But yeah, again, if it's your first time, like and subscribe. I do breakdowns every week. I have a Discord, which, you know, it's like 30 Australian dollars a month. It's peanuts. All the sharps from Twitter and sharps don't even have social media pages that I've never heard of are in the Discord, and, you know, really grateful what it's become that I can actually ask them for picks and trust them. So yeah, the Discord is actually going to go up in price by the end of the year. So if you want to join, jump in before New Year's 2024, and everyone that's in the Discord will be on the same price. So I'm going to obviously people that supported me from day one, they're going to get rewarded. They're going to be on the discount. Let's look at some comments. Lou Betcher, legit best in biz, discipline, good reads. Let's get it. Thank you, mate. You're a legend. Lou's in the Discord. He's very supportive. Good guy. Okay, Kayagakai, it's been a while, mate. It's been a while. Hello, Steve. Do you think Du Plessis Strickland will end inside distance? You would think so. But it's just hard to trust Strickland to finish anyone. You know, just a jab and straight and leg kick merchant. You know, if he lands a good one too, like he did on Izzy, it's probably his best chance. But he kind of needs to finish. What do we got? And what do you think about $1.50 moneyline on Gamrot versus RDA? Is that already out, those odds? I mean, I think it's a tough fight for RDA, honestly, even though Gamrot, you know, is a bit of a decision machine. But yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Any leans on Octagon? I can't wait to tape that fight. Like, so far, ACA and A1 Combat has been a bit average for betting, in my opinion. I will smash out the card when I jump off here. But yeah, I'll look at some odds for you now. Yeah, I'm relying on Octagon. Octagon is one of my favorite bookies. Favorite promotions, pardon me. So a lot of these guys, I don't know. I know Boyan. I know Andreas Michailidis. I think that's a 5-rounder. Lastot Cepo is a Serbian dude. He has a short notice fight. Some people like the dog there. I'm looking forward to looking into that one. Tonkara, he's awful. Ion Sudu's good. Chara Penko. I'm actually excited about these female fights because I know these two girls. Mallory Martin, she was in the UFC. She's awful. She's a favorite. I know Magdalena Somova as well. That could be an interesting one. And Chara Penko, she's a guard lady fighting a girl that's going to wrestle her. So yeah, no strong leans, but I'm looking forward to taping it, mate. Steve, if you win 50 units next year, will you change your background to pink? 50 units. That's not that big of a target, but sure, why not? I'll do it. We don't have ACA anymore in Poland because of the Russia invading Ukraine. That's all right. At least they're still fighting. So I'll do some positives and negatives, and then I'll go through my tilting periods. I'll share the screen and then I'll show people. Alrighty. So obviously the positives this year were best year to date, right? 54,000. Last year I had like 39 or 40. So even though I went down in units, you know, I can't complain about that. That's I'll take that any day of the week, you know. But obviously another profitable year. That's a positive. Always want profit, but I don't think that's a big thing. You know, I think that's a small hill, and a lot of people profit on MMA long term. I know a lot of bad cappers and gamblers, and all you got to do is profit 6 months or even less. Maybe have 3 big months and just break even for the rest of the year, and you're in profit for the year. So that's not a big positive. The Discord, massive positive, and how it's grown and the people that are in it. I really just started it because I hated all the other Discords I was in. There was always someone bothering me, someone with an ego and bad betters and trying to influence my opinions. So I just wanted my own place where, I had sharp friends in there and I was charging, so not everyone could be in there, only serious people that wanted to make money. And I'm quite surprised how it turned out. And I love spending time in there. I'm in there 24/7, and it just runs itself at this point. If I'm not in there, Pepe and other sharp people discuss fights, and just people talking about footy all the time. And so yeah, it's a good place to be in. So that's a massive positive for me that I can stay in there. And if Sherdog falls apart, which it has, and if I don't have Twitter, I've got that Discord. That's a positive. Yeah, best year to date. My method of betting is pretty much spot on. I'm extremely confident in it. Second year, paying my mortgage, paying my bills. Got a lot of money in the. I wouldn't say a lot, but I got enough to feel comfortable. Went to Europe, wasn't a problem. Negatives, obviously, my goal was 100,000 last year. I didn't get close to that. Barely got half of it. Obviously, deep down, I didn't really think I would get to 100,000. I thought it was kind of like, aim for the stars, reach the moon, or aim for the moon, reach the stars. But 60, 70 would have been a bit more. I would have been happy with that, but so I didn't really get close to that. What's the other negative? Not much. The other negative is I lost way too much money in a few spots, right? Which again, I'll go over soon. And yeah, that's about it. Right, best month. Oh, the other negative is my unit output per month was a bit average, right? So October was my best month, 6.4 units. Then May, 6.3. Then November. Then February, 6.2. And November, 6 units. So obviously, it looks like my unit per month is about 6 units on average, which every year I usually have like a month of 10 or 9 or 11. So this year I was a bit, I don't know, maybe someone can add to this, but I found the bookies were extremely sharp with UFC this year. Money lines, and if not, people just steam it on BetOnline, and the props were extremely sharp. Obviously, there was off ones, and you just have to stay more diligent and a lot more disciplined, which is good. Which is, I feel lucky that they become sharp after 6 years of me doing this, to the point that I'm sharp as well. Otherwise, it was a lot easier a couple of years ago to make profit when I was a bit more of a rookie. And my worst month was September with 5.2 units and 7,800 loss, which I had to go back years to find a month where I lost that much money. So that was my big tilting month. And the other one was March, not even a unit, 0.9. And yeah, that's only lost 2 months, which again, that was a negative. Last year, I only lost one month. I usually have one negative month per year. So again, that's why I like my method. Pretty tried and tested over the whole year. Let's address this comment. Rasmus, don't recall ever seeing you, mate, but thanks for listening. Will you share your record on live betting, or do you have it posted anyway? I have it all tracked on Sherdog and here on my. I'm pretty old school, man. I use like a little book. But last year I tracked live betting, and I had a look at my thing. It's like I wrote down that I need to go bigger on live betting because my live bets were pretty good. But yeah, and this year I just didn't bother. It's like after 6 years, I'm happy with everything. Like I know my ROI is good because I don't make many bets. A lot of people, the people that have like 10 bets per card, the ROI is low, and they profit a certain amount. I don't bet that much anymore. I have like 2, 3, 4 bets and profit, so the ROI is decent. And my best, if you go on my BetOnline or BetMMA, my best return of investment is massive dogs and then moderate dogs. So I barely make any plays. I do best on underdogs, so the ROI is naturally pretty good. Kakai Agakai. Should I bet my house on your boy Boyan? Ooh. Well, he's an underdog, but Michailidis has been improving a lot, man. All right, I'm going to share my screen and go through the tilting periods, and then we'll address them. See my biggest losses this year. All right, let's go. Let's do this. All righty. So share screen. Ask any more questions if you have any. Share screen. Entire screen. Jesus. Well, this is funky. No, this is not really gonna work. Unless here we go. Here we go. Share screen. There we go. So can we see this? Yeah, if you can't see it, let me know. I think that's fine. So this is all my. I've got years of my records in here. All right, so let's go. So my first tilting period that happened was in March/April. So here it is. So March, that's when I increased my units to 1,500, right? So I had decent Challenger Series haul. Right, I was killing it on Challenger Series. That's what limited me on one of my Bet365 accounts. Lost a little money on Race versus Campbell. I kind of forced that one, but it is what it is. Then I won 3,093 on Jones versus Gane. That was my last 2-unit shot. I played Bo Nickel to win in round 1 at -200. I was super sweaty. It was like I was like $3,000 on this, and I need Bo Nickel to finish Jamie Pickett in round 1. And you just like, if he doesn't do a 3,000, you're definitely not making profit. And he did it, and I was like, all right, this is what I have to do. I have to look at my money as units, and it's always hard when you increase your unit sizing. So that the month actually started well. I was already on 10,000, as you can see, 10,000 for the year after February. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill it. I made like 4,000 after those 2 events. And then this is where the tilt started, but it started slowly, right? And tilt starts, you can notice it when you start to FOMO and whatnot. So Bellator versus Usman, that Bellator 292, Usman versus Henderson. I remember I didn't like anything on there, but I ended up parlaying it with that stupid bum. What's his name? Anglikis. Parlayed him with something with Barzola, and he got ran through. Right, I kind of forced that one because I didn't have anything. Right, as soon as you start to FOMO, that's when I start to lose. I didn't have any bets, and I felt like I've had a FOMO of missing out on easy profit, so I parlayed the wrong parlay and lost. Right, so $500 there, no biggie. Made $100 on Challenger Series. That's because I was limited. They limited me after that last hole. Then Jan Marab. This is when I had a death in the family, and I was training for a competition. So I forced Jan, even though he was a juice, and I was actually in profit up until that point, and I was also training for a competition, so I was very stressed that week, cutting weight. And I went, and the person passed away as I was driving to my competition, and I was in profit, and then I had 2,000 something on Jan, and I just watched him get destroyed by Marab. And I knew deep down that was a bad bet of juice. I just thought Jan was going to stuff him and sprawl him, but the cardio of Marab in 5 rounds and possible improvement. And I watched that lose, and then I had my comp, and I destroyed everyone. But yeah, that was big money lost there. And it was tilt from outside of gambling, right? So that's the thing with tilt. You're gonna have stuff in your life that happens. and nothing to do with gambling, and that's when you should probably take a step away. This one, Richarla Eskiev had a little poke on Lesko against Tom Breeze because Tom Breeze is a flake, just like $100. But then I realized I could live bet on KSW, and I put a stupid bet on Eskiju against Richarla, like $750, half a unit. I literally threw it away, and then he lost. And I never would have bet that, but I just wanted to see if they would take a $700 stake on live betting, and it did. And then Eskiju was finished with like 10 seconds to go. Then Vucinic, Ferranti, Cage Warriors. Again, I all the favorites won, and the one favorite I parlayed, Emil Brown against Skabinski, who I thought was going to knock out Paper Chin. Everyone's knocked out Skabinski after that, and he just got wrestled and lost 29-28, even though he hurt him. Lost another 750 there, and a little poke that I forced. One Challenger Series. At this point, I'm tilted now because I'm throwing money away. Those two bets were thrown away right here. Usman Edwards, yeah. I remember I was down, and then I live bet Edwards big to squeeze out profit there. A little bit of profit on Cage Warriors. Lost 500 on LFA, which makes me think I forced a little dog. And then, yeah, I was actually going to be in profit, and I lost 2,100 on Vera Sandhagen. I think I had some bad bets there. And this would have been a much bigger losing month, right, if the tilt didn't spill over into April. So then I had 2,400 lost on Bellator, pretty much lost every bet. I remember I live bet Leah McCourt over Katsugano, and I swear she got robbed on a couple of moments at the end of each round that she was getting dominated in. Then thankfully James won, otherwise it would have been a 3,000 something loss. Then I lost 500 on Ryzen. Then I lost 1,400 on PFL, and my only bet was the under in Dylan Milan fight, who he gets finished by everyone and finishes everyone, and he was fighting that crotch sniffer, and I just knew that it was going to go over, but I was tilted and I threw it away. Threw another 1,400 on an under, which I'm really good at unders, and then I took a break. I took a big break because the tilt was bad. And I was like, I'm just throwing too much money away. If you have a look, 2,000, 1,000 here, 500, 2,000 on the last event of the year, 2,000 on Marabian. So I was up 10,000, and by the end of it, I was up 10,000 plus 4 at the start of the year. So I was up 14,000, and by the end, I ended up on 8.9. And then, I kept losing. I lost on James, and I was like, I need to take a break. I need to take a break right now before I wipe out most of my bankroll. So what I did, I took a break right before Pereira versus Izzy, and I took 2 days off. And that was, I think, March is when I started the Discord. And at this point, it was like, I contemplated going back to a full-time job because I was embarrassed. There's people paying $15 for the Discord back then, and they were tailing my picks blindly, and I was like, nah, this is not working. And I took 2 days off, and I came back, and when I came, usually I watch podcasts because I like to listen to people talk about fights, and I don't really care. I don't get influenced. I came back, didn't go on any social media, didn't go on Discord, and I just taped fights in my own time with no pressure and with no outside noise, and ended up sweeping the card. I hit Holland inside the distance over washed Ponzinibbio that was like paying $2.50. Couldn't believe it. I hit the under in the Easy Pereira fight. We hit a lot. I swept the card essentially and made 2,800. Then lost a little bit on PFL and lost a little bit on Cage Warriors, half a unit. But I think my month was turned around, and then I won 830 on Holloway, Allen. Lost a little bit on LFA. Won 1,600 on Bellator, which is usually tough. Then I won another 1,000 on Bellator. That was the double Bellator weekend. Lost 800 on Pavlovich Blades. Nothing on Cage Warriors. And then I finished the month with 3,600 Song versus Simone. And that put me in just enough profit for the month. So I ended up on 12,000 again for the year. So I was on 10,000 before March. And lost a bit of it and started April bad. But once I took that break, I came back. And that's the story of my year, I've been doing well. May finished on 6,000 profit. June, 3,000. July, 3 units. yeah, my year's usually been good, and then I tilt and I go crazy. I don't take a break, and then something emotional destroys me. Um, yeah, September. September was the other one. So I went to Europe in April, and April, yeah, Europe is usually when I bet great, you know. So that was August. That was July, August, you know. So Octagon. I bet Lima. I bet Aspinall to Tabora 2,300 from Europe. You know, Cage Warriors 2,400 profit. The other Cage Warriors lost 900. Then UFC 291, 1,300 profit. And this is, while I'm partying, going to the beach, not on the computer much, barely any tape. And, then went to August, 1,400 on PFL, right? Um, and this first Dana White Contender Series, Almeida Fernandez 1,200. I bet Almeida as a massive dog, and then he got signed over Fernando. So Europe is usually good because I'm enjoying my holidays and I'm relaxed and I have that good balance. As Kurt Kwiatkowski says, self-care is important. This is your job. We all take vacations regularly to stay fresh. You got to find a way to do the same once in a while. That's it. That's why Europe's always good. If I could have that Europe mindset, but as my boy Pepe says, I'm truly obsessed with this. So balance is the hardest thing to do. So as Europe is approaching the end. So Luke Aria again, 2,500 profit. I was in Dubai for this one. So I'm killing it. I'm killing these cards. And I even liked Luque there and didn't play him as a dog because I couldn't do more due diligence, right? Because again, he was in Europe. But he won as well. So all my gut leans and instincts were correct in Europe. I was killing it. And then I come back and, the second part of August, which is right here, 20th, 21st, I still profit. I lost $1,000 on road to UFC. I threw that away. And the profit gets a bit smaller. And, I ended up on 3.2 unit profit, which is something. But I remember thinking August was very hard and I was happy that I profited. It was my favorite month, grinding out profit. And then September comes and I just say, I'm going to grind because I was away in Europe for a month. I'm going to grind away and do heaps of podcasts and have heaps of guests on. And by the third of the 9th, which was UFC Paris Gane Spivak, I wake up at 2 a.m. to watch it. Pardon me. I wake up to watch and I have this feeling of dread, like, man, UFC is getting hard to bet on. And there's nothing to bet on this card. Why did I wake up at 3 a.m.? And there was no live bets. And I never feel like that. So there was this feeling that I really hated my job at that point, which was burnout, right? I was working too hard. And I wish I took a break before that, right? So I lost $130 there, even though I live bet Gane heaps. And I thought of Gane by KO right after the fight started, which is plus money. That's easy money. It's better than his money line. And I thought, that's when I should have stopped having that feeling of, there's no value in UFC anymore. Why am I doing this? That should have been a red flag, right? This time it wasn't tilt. This time it was burnout. And then, lost a little bit of money on CFFC. Lost 1,200 on LFA. And this is the one I passed on LFA. Neto versus Conrad. Neto was a dog, but I couldn't get a read and I passed. And then someone on Discord said they played him. And then I played him and he lost, got dominated. That at that point when I was burnt out, I'm getting influenced by people that, I respect because they're in my Discord, but I'm not really going to tell them, right? They're not going to convince me if I don't have a read. And then Dana White Contender Series 5 comes, Lopez versus Ribeiro, and I lose every bet, 5,088. And the whole day I'm FOMOing, I'm betting every fight, which I usually wouldn't do. And I lose 5,000. And that's when I did my tilt video, which you can find on YouTube, right? I was definitely tilted. So I wish, and I felt horrible, 5,000 is my biggest loss of the year. That's like, it's more than 3 units. It's quite a lot. And, I got to 42 units before the start of the month. And then just, 1 step forward and then 2 steps back, And I don't make that much every, on my big events, 3 units, 3 units max. And then I give it all up, like that, 5,000 on a 5-fight card, Contender Series only had 5 fights. So that felt a bit pathetic, and that's all tilt, man. That's all tilt, and that's again story of my year. Amazing profit, consistency all year round, and too much money in just a couple of spots. After that, I lost a bit on Game Bread, poking stuff, FOMO. 3,300 on Adesanya Strickland. I was extremely tilted there. My boy Strickland won, and I didn't even get to capitalize. And then again I took a break. and I started slow. Profited a little bit on Dynamite Contender Series, profited $1,000 on KSW, 2,000 on Grasso Shevchenko, 1,200 on Gaziev Contender Series, 1,000 on Bellator, and then I lost 2,000 Fiziev Gamrot, and finished. Got destroyed on PFL Europe 2,300. So that was my biggest, 5.2 units. That was my biggest month. That's essentially brought me back to 34,000. And if that didn't happen, and April didn't happen, and December, where I lost 6,100 in one event, who knows? Maybe I'm on 65 to 70,000 so far, because I never lose that much in one card. My theory is protect your capital, right? Profit every week, protect your capital. I know my boy Couch had a rough year, ended up in negative for the year, and I told him this: when things are not going well, just focus on profit for the card. If there's no bets that you like, just pass on everything, because you just have to have one bet that's going to profit and nothing else. And if that's not there, then don't force anything. So yeah, and obviously losing those big chunks of cash kind of just goes against what I believe in. So yeah, 6,100 in this first card of December as well. That I got injured. I told my boy Lou I got injured there. I was uncertain if I'll need surgery in my neck. Couldn't train. Had to pull out of a competition. Had another death in the family. So lost every single bet that card. On another day, I wouldn't bet anything, but I forced a lot. And then I said, all right, I'll be happy with 50,000, because that put me under 50. And then I profited on BKFC, profited on Brave, profited on PFL, profited on Octagon, profited UFC, Song versus Guti, profited at 1,000 on Cage Warriors, lost 300 on LFA, then profited KSW, profited UFC 296. So we're in profit. And I lost $200 in Aaron Blanchfield, end of year champion, which was kind of salty. I never play those. And man, I played that before she beat Santos. It was 200 to win, almost 3,000. And I thought I was robbed, She beat Santos. Grasso beat Shevchenko. I was like, man, this is going to be an easy fight for Aaron. And then they do the rematch, and then the draw stuffs me up too. So I think there was a chance if they didn't give a rematch that Aaron could have gone against Grasso, or if Grasso beat Shevchenko, maybe they could have squeezed Aaron versus Grasso for the title, and then I could have hedged. But yeah, shit happens. So yeah, this is why I'm not going to change much with my style. I'm just going to work on balance next year. Tilt, take a break. If something happens emotionally in your life, take a break from betting before it's too late. Avoid burnout before it's too late. Usually when you lose, 6,000, it's too late already. So I knew the warning signs were there. I just couldn't stop it. Or I didn't want to stop it because, again, like my boy Pepe, I'm obsessed. All right. We'll go through over some comments, and then we'll, I don't know what else to talk about, so we'll look to finish up. MVP, plus 225 versus Holland. Jan, $1.60 versus Song. What do you think? I think MVP, he's got his weaknesses. He can be low volume, he can be grappled. And Holland, even though he doesn't grapple, he can go to it, and I think he can match the length and the speed of MVP. I think it's a bit of a rough fight for MVP. I think Holland's extremely durable too. So yeah, but it could mimic a bit of Wonderboy, to be honest. I think MVP is more durable than Wonderboy. I don't know. It kind of feels accurate to me at first glance. Burns versus Jack Della. I'm probably going to play Jack Della. Hopefully he goes to underdog because of his last fight with Hafez and his split decision. Cejudo Henry. I don't think he means Cejudo Henry, mate. I think he means Cejudo Merab. I kind of lean Merab. I don't know, but I have to watch that Jan fight. I'm still scarred from that. Do we agree that Tuivasa should knock out Tybura in the first round? Yeah, he definitely should, mate. But Tybura is underrated, and he's avoided knockouts in a few fights, and then after that, he's a really good underdog. Kurt, I already addressed this. Thanks for listening. Lou Betcha. Steve, what is the plan to win $1 million for next year? Heard making videos are bad as all the rage. Yeah, I think lucrative has the blueprint. You know, I mean, he's also shooting for the stars, so good on him. I should mention I lost 3,000 on betting footy, on soccer, so I won't be going back to that next year. The goal this year was 100,000, and I said, maybe another passive income like a Discord. Increase my units, which I have. Bet on more books, which I have, and more regionals. And I thought maybe bet on soccer. Now after 6 years, I can implement what I learned on MMA on soccer. But no, it's just stressing me out more. And instead of betting soccer in my spare time, I'm going to use it as a tool to relax and refresh for when MMA comes along. Malcolm Gordon, Jimmy Flick. Does Jimmy have any dog left inside of him? Malcolm, the thought Macau should roll. What do you think? I love this fight. And I'm sure I'll be on the under there. Otherwise, pick him kind of feels accurate. Actually, see, I wanted to say I'll bet Jimmy Flick because Gordon is easy to submit, but Gordon hits like a truck, actually. So it's such a volatile fight. Under for sure. If I ask too many questions, then forgive me, but I'm curious. No. Curious people are smart people, mate. Ask as many because no one else is. Trains and trade. How do you prevent other people from influencing your decision? Looking back, some of my worst plays were too much noise tailing. My one of my worst years when I went up to 20,000 and then I lost it all almost by the end of the year. By halfway through the year was because I was doing a full-time job and I was training jiu-jitsu and I didn't have time to do my due diligence. And, I had a good network of people that I just blindly tailed and it didn't work out. They went on a bad run and then I went on a bad run. So how do you prevent? I just don't listen. That's all. I just don't listen. I'm after that year, staying accountable. I said I'll never listen to anyone again. But I do my due diligence and I don't. That's it. A couple of times I do it for fun. Some people respect say, hey, tail this for a little bit, and I go, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And sometimes it wins, sometimes it loses, but yeah, I prevent it because I've lost a lot of money and I know not to do it. That's as simple as it gets. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to people's opinions and I argue with them knowing that they won't sway me. You just have to stay true. Just know that deep down, whatever anyone says, you have to. And I still got convinced. I had FOMO about Durden. I had FOMO about, Kelleher. But deep down, I knew I probably should live bet them both. And that would have saved me money. And yeah, lose right. I hate people, so it's easy. Last one. Reyes $3 versus Olberg $1.40. Reyes the light heavyweight Tony Ferguson. He looked like it, but he can definitely get cracked with a check hook. But all I'm going to say is, a 1-2 down a pipe always beats a lead check hook, as Luke Rockhold knows. I lost to Poirier end of year champ plus 160. Don't feel so bad. Man, mine was paying more. Aaron was paying more. But, is Topuria going to beat Walk? That's the thing. You didn't say what you think about Yan Yadong. Oh, right. I don't know. It's a tough fight. Again, I have to watch Yan versus Merab because I was watching it right before my first match in Jiu-Jitsu on my phone. And, yeah, I just think, I don't know. Yan did look a bit washed there. And, Song is better than I ever thought it would be. I never thought it would be this at this point. But it's going to be a good fight. Two durable boxers. Both can wrestle. Hopefully, Yan has taken a break and improved a bit. So, yeah. Victor De Jesus. What's up, Steve in chat? Joined the stream late. I'll rewatch from the beginning. Thank you, mate. Thanks for listening. I honestly thought no one would be in here because I hate these and I don't really care about other cappers' review. My own review takes a long time, so I'm surprised any of you guys are in here. Kirk Watowski, Kakai, get in the Discord and blow those questions up. A few bucks a month pays off the gig. I think, Kakai, you said you were going to be in there, mate. What's going on? You're flaking on me. Don't ignore my comment. I didn't even see it. Sorry, mate. Take a break for betting, you say. You were crucifying me for it. Hey, I said take a 2-day break. Not however long break you're taking. I don't want to say because you didn't announce it to the world. I don't want to take your shine. And that two break that I took after my tilt saved me and it helped me sweep the card, so it's essential. Also, when I was doing full-time, when I had a full-time job, that stuff like that really helped me to keep the balance, 'cause I'll go to work, I'll deal with customers, I'll come home, and then I'll bet, and then I'll go to training. When you do this full-time, I should say, I think balance is a lot more important because it can swallow you up, right? Miles Spenceley, beautiful name. What do you think of Nolan versus Moda? I mean, rough matchup for Moda. I bet Moda against uh, Trey Ogden, and I think he could have knocked him out, but he just looked awful. He just looked like a one-dimensional boxer that can't really land anything, and he's chinny, and yeah, they really set Nolan up for a win here. But minus 200, I do remember Nolan having some issues, which is why I didn't play him in Contender Series. I know him from the Australian regional scene. I bet on Eternal MMA, but he's a beast, man. He should run through Nolan. I know him from Contender Series. I know him. I know him, man. Yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets. That's the only card that had a lot of money lines. Peyton Talbot and Tom Nolan were both similar prices. Money came back in on the other, and because I was traveling in Europe and I didn't have access to Bet Online, I would have put a whole unit on both those favorites on Contender Series, but I didn't. So that would have been a big hole. But I still hit Almeida as a big dog. Alrighty, that's about it. 41 minutes. If anyone wants to add any more questions, yeah, 39 units, 53,000. I'm gonna bet these last two cards. So jump in on Discord if you want. I'll post my picks there. I'll post them on Twitter. I'll post them on Sherdog like I always do in my Bet MMA, but Bet MMA is just for myself, so you won't be able to tail that. It'll be on the day before the card. Like I said, happy to profit, happy to have the best year to date, happy for the Discord, and happy I don't have to go to full time just yet. And yeah, the goal is 100,000 again next year. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I just have to focus on the goal, which is balance, and not burn out, and not throw away massive sums of money. When I am tilted, and if I'm not tilted and everything's going well, I guarantee I'll do much better. So 100,000. No more betting on footy. No more throwing my money away on footy. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for listening. Like I said, the Discord will go up on the first day of 2024. So if you want to jump in now, and you will lock in the cheap price forever. If not, it's all good. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Train and trade. Thank you, mate. Miles. Look, minus 200 could still be value, right? Because Tim Nolan could easily run through him. Kakai. He wrote this in Serbian. He's a Nigerian prince and he's dying. Please send money of his bank card, and yeah. No worries, mate. I'll help you out. Alrighty. Thanks everyone for listening. Peace out.